Okay, so let's start. Good evening, all of you. Today we are going to discuss level 1 economics paper, right? As you all know, this is one of the main subject in 4 subjects, as you know: accounting, business studies, economics and maths. So this is today about economics paper discussion, right? This paper, all the questions are compulsory. Very first you will get MCQs, fill in the blanks and true or false, and 5 short answered questions, right? So today we are going to discuss the section B and C. So that's most probably you need how to write the answers, the structure and the calculation, how to find it, how to match with the answers. So that is how we are going to discuss the paper. Here you can see the section B. Under section B, it's about totally 40 marks. Okay, there are 4 questions included, but it's starting from question 2. It means the question 1 is about MCQs. Okay, there you can get the past papers and you can discuss again and again. You can compare the papers. You can get to know how the structure will be given to you. So this is starting from question 2. Question number 3, 4 and 5, it means there are 4 questions, each giving you 10 marks. It means totally 40 marks. Okay. Then finally it is section C, that is for 20 marks. So altogether today we are going to discuss for 60 marks paper. So 40 marks from section A. Right. Here in section B, question number 2, very first thing is about state 3 functions of entrepreneurship. Right. What is an entrepreneurship? Actually, what is this? This is one of the functions of what? This is one of the factors of production. They are what? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So the land is about naturally gifted things. Labor is about mental and physical efforts given to the production process. Capital is about man-made things, and finally it is about entrepreneurship. So this is where the land, labor and capital are organized together to produce goods and service in an efficient manner. So here I asked about, you are going to state only. State means no need to discuss, okay, no need to explain. You can give in a point form, right? So state 3 functions of entrepreneurship. So very first, this entrepreneurship is going to do the policy making of what? So they are going to make the policy regarding goods and service, what to produce by combining needed factors of production. As I said, land, labor, capital. By combining, they want to decide what to produce, what kind of goods or the service to be produced. So in this question number B, section B, question number 2, very first part, we need 3 points regarding functions of entrepreneurship. So very first function I said, you are going to make the policy decision making, right? Policy decision making. So after making the policy, what to produce, combining the factors of production, what do you want to do? You want to organize the production activity. You want to organize it. Okay, dear, you want to organize the things. Okay, organize and conduct the production activity. What else you can add? They are going to face the risk. Okay, dear, you want to face the risk. Face risk. And something you can add, trying to add some innovation in your production process. So what is the meaning of innovation? Creating something new ideas or new product, or making some new appearance in your product, ingredient, adding some ingredient further. So you are trying something better to produce goods and service to the consumers, right? So the very first question is about what? 3 functions of an entrepreneurship, but I gave you 4. You can write 3 out of these 4 points, okay? So it's about entrepreneurship. So there are land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. These 4 are the factors of production. So I asked what are the functions of entrepreneurship. So you can say making the policy regarding what to produce by combining the other factors. And the second thing is about organizing and conducting the production process. And third one is about facing the risk. You are going to take the risk. And last one is about innovation. So innovation is you are trying to give something better than earlier stage to the consumers. Is that clear for you all? Yes, I guess so. Then we can go to the B part. So B part is about consider the following demand function QD, supply function QS given in relation to a commodity. So here we are going to assume a commodity is taken and its quantity demanded and quantity supplied functions are given below. So here QD is given 300 minus 10p. Why the function is given in a minus value? 300 minus 10p. Why? Why there's a minus value? That is about the law of demand. What does law of demand say? It says there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and quantity demanded and price. So as price increases, quantity demanded decreases. Price decreases, quantity demanded increases. Therefore, there is an inverse relationship. If price increases, QD drop. If price decreases, QD increases. Therefore, there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. That's what there is an inverse sign. I mean minus sign is stated. And here quantity supply function is given minus 200 plus 15p plus. Why the plus sign is included? Again, that is about what? Law of supply. So law of supply saying there is a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. So if price increases, quantity supply increases, and also price decreases, quantity supplied also too decreased. So there is an upward sloping supply line. Then downward sloping demand line, upward sloping supply line. So we can find the point. That point is about what? The intersection point, market equilibrium. If you know market equilibrium, you can easily find out what is an equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. And number 2, I requested calculate the consumer surplus. Okay dear, so I am going to show you graphical wise and mathematical wise how to find out equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, and later on consumer surplus. Okay, so first of all you want to get to know about inverse relationship between price and QD and positive relationship between price and QS, quantity supplied. Then how the diagram is taken, downward sloping demand line and upward sloping supply line are taken. Then we can find out the equilibrium point. That equilibrium point through you can find out what is the price and quantity, equilibrium level, price and quantity. So I can show you mathematically and I can apply to the graph. Then you can understand further how the spaces are taken. Okay, so it's about the B point, I mean the B section. So B section, QD is given and we are going to take the QS, YI equal QD and QS. I'm asking the equilibrium point answer. I mean equilibrium point, price and quantity. Therefore, how can we take it graphically? Right, there is a downward sloping demand line. So if you draw the supply line, remember it can start from 3 different axes. One by quantity axis, if intersect, I mean the A answer, right? A answer, the answer is positive. It starts from quantity axis. If A answer is 0, origin, it is started from origin. If the minus, here see the A intercept answer is given in a minus. So minus means we have to start from the price axis. It means, you see, it starts from the price axis. Indirectly, it is starting from minus value, that is minus 200 given. So just for the information I am providing you, how this minus 200 can be elaborated from the graph diagram. Okay, therefore the supply line can be started from 3 different axes according to the A amount. So A amount is positive, it starts from Q axis, it starts from Q axis. Right, if A answer is 0, it starts from origin, and it starts from P if negative value is given for A intercept answer. So now this is the equilibrium point, this is the equilibrium point. Therefore we can find out what is the worth of this point and Q. So P is about price and Q is about quantity, equilibrium price and quantity. That is what I am going to show here. So we can solve the functions by this equation. So we can find the price first. Then we can substitute that price level to any of the quantity function. It can be either in QD or QS. We can find the answer, right? So better I erase this. I need the space for working. Right. Okay. So here QD is given 300 minus 10p and minus 200 plus 15p. Remember the easiest way, the value which is in minus convert into plus, then very easy to solve it. Therefore here already 300 plus ne pute. Alright, this minus we can take back here, therefore it is now plus. Here already plus value is given, this minus I can convert into plus. We are taking after the equation here, the sign here. So plus 10p. Now you can add these things, 500 and here 25. So 1p to find out, you are going to divide by 25. So what is the answer value? 500 dividing by 25. If I am correct, the price is 20. Right, so very first step we are going to find the equilibrium price. So this is 20. Okay, this is for your just understanding, right, illustration. So this is what I am expecting. That's okay if you draw the graph like this to show what is the equilibrium price and quantity, right? Okay, so after finding the price, I am asking the quantity. So the quantity to find, what are you going to do? You are going to substitute it. So this value you are going to substitute in QD presentation or QS presentation. You can find the answer, right? Anyhow, I will show you by 2 different amount, then you can understand both answers are same. So because here see, demand and supply both intersect kyanne pute, here the value will be same. So you can substitute in the demand line or the supply line, your answer is same. So you can go to the QD function or QS function, anything is okay. Therefore if you take QD, 300 minus 10p. So if that is so, instead of p I can substitute 20, then your total answer value is 200. Then the net answer is 100 units. Why I am going to mention in units? Because it's quantity. Price it comes in rupees. Okay, don't worry. Finally we are going to write and show. So or I said you can take to the QS function also, minus 200 plus 15p. Then what happens if you substitute 20 here? 300, but the sign is plus. As sign plus is greater than minus, the plus answer comes. So we first subtract 300 minus 200, then the answer is 100 units. See? Both way your answer will be same, but don't waste your time of showing in the two different function here. One you can choose, so you substitute the price value, you can find the units. Therefore finally what do you want to say? What is the amount of equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? Okay, can you see? Is that clear? Yes. So price is rupees 20, and here you can say 100 units quantities because it's in units, 100 units. Right. Is that clear for you all? Understood? Okay. So coming back to the point, we are in a section B. I am talking about question number 2. Already the A part I discussed, state 3 functions of an entrepreneurship. I gave you 4 points. Any of these 4 you can include in 3 states. State kya pute, you want to just write in a point format, but nicely write it. I am giving in a short points there. Take the knowledge and write nicely as a point, as a sentence. Then only it looks nice to get marks. Okay. So what are the 4 points I included? Can you remember? What are the points I included? First, you want to make the policy. Second, you want to organize and conduct the production activity. And third one is about facing the risk. You are going to take the risk, accepting the risk. And last one is about innovation. So once that is done, I explained about the simple B part. It's about the market equilibrium concept. So there is a downward sloping demand line and upward sloping supply line. So we are going to find the equilibrium price and quantity. Therefore, E is the equilibrium level. At the time, what is the price and quantity? We are going to present by mathematical way. So, by the mathematical presentation, you can see here QD equals QS. QD function is given, QS function is given. So, you are going to find first what is P. Once that is found, you can take this amount to any of this one. Okay, substitute P here, the 20 answer, you can get the answer. The same answer also you can find. Okay, there are no worries. One of these two you can take. Then finally you want to show what is the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Nicely complete it. Okay, what is the amount in rupees for price? What is the amount in units for quantity? Clear? Can I raise these two? Yes, I guess so. So in the B part, it is the first thing I included regarding the equilibrium price and quantity. Now the second thing, the same concept, okay, the market equilibrium, same concept, we are going to calculate consumer's surplus, right? What is the meaning of consumer surplus? Actually, what is surplus? Surplus balance, excess balance. So excess balance means you cannot say in minus answer. Can you say consumer surplus or producer surplus in minus answer? Minus rupees 3,000 or minus rupees 4,000, like can you say? Never. Therefore, remember, surplus is the excess benefit, okay, the excess gain, what is received by consumer side and the producer side, okay. If you take this diagram, this upper portion is consumer surplus, okay dear, this is consumer surplus. And this is the below the one, the below the space is about producer surplus. Now you can, you might get a doubt during the examination time, you are in stress, okay dear, upper part is consumer or below the part is consumer, you might have the doubt. Remember the line, okay dear. So there is a triangle, no darling, like this triangle. See, this is the downward line, no, downward line. Therefore, what is this line? Demand, no? Therefore, dear, this is the consumer surplus, ne? Now, this is the upside line, see, upside, upward moving. So, this is whose line? Supplier, no? Then, this portion goes to whom, dear? Producer surplus. That is how you can remember. Upper space goes to consumer and below the space goes to producer. Therefore, dear, you can find consumer surplus now. Then, dear, in order to find this area, it's the triangle area. The triangle area is about half into base into height, mathematically. Half into base into height. But anyhow, economics wise, we have the formula. You want to apply the formula and substitute the number figures. That looks nice, okay. You can get easily marks from there. Therefore, you want to first find what is the value of this level. What is this point? Q0, what is the price? This is the highest consumer price, maximum consumer price at Q level 0. So, very first you want to substitute 0 to the Q and find the price, then only we can do the consumer surplus presentation, right, okay. Very first working, okay dear, you want to find the maximum consumer price. Maximum consumer price. To find the maximum consumer price, we want to write the QD function, if I am correct. Yes, 300 minus 10p, and here we are going to assume Q0. I told if Q level 0, what is the price? Therefore, 300 minus 10p, as I said earlier, minus, take as the plus value. So, take to the another side, then both will be in plus. So, you see dear, easily you can find the answer. So, this is the maximum price. So, now we know the value of all, then we need the consumer surplus. In order to find the consumer surplus dear, in order to find the consumer surplus, first of all we want to take the maximum consumer price minus equilibrium price, okay dear, equilibrium price dividing by 2, half ne putte, half into base into height. Therefore, half into base into height, half kya putte, we are dividing by 2. So, this is the difference, see 30 minus 20. So, maximum consumer price minus equilibrium price. Then you can see this is as the base Q, equilibrium quantity, equilibrium quantity. Therefore, maximum price is 30, equilibrium price is 20. Then we are going to divide by 2 and multiplying by 100. So, if I am correct, the answer is 5,000. 10 dividing by 2, 5. No, 500 rupees. Ne putte rupees 500. No, 30 minus 20. Then 10 comes. 10 dividing by 2, 5. So, 5 into 100, 500. Just not 500. It is rupees 500. Okay, the surplus balance comes in rupees. So, definitely please apply RS rupees. What is the amount? So, rupees 500. So, that is about second part under B. So I showed you, explained how to find first equilibrium price and quantity. Then we have to find the maximum consumer price, substituting QD as 0, then only the price can be found. After finding the price there, we can get to know what is the consumer surplus. Your answer comes in rupees. So that is for the entire 10 marks question. Clear? Is that clear? Understood somewhat? So A, B, we completed. So totally that is for 10 marks question. Right. So now shall we go to the question number 3? So it's something included with the theory and the graph and the B's calculation. So altogether 10 marks. Yes, we can go to the third question. So I'll raise this. I am pretty sure you all have understood. So it's about the third question. Right. Okay. Right. Question number 3, simple A part. Explain the economic consequences of imposing a unit tax, right, on a supplier with the help of graph. Okay, listen now. If they ask you specifically with the help of graph, using a graph, with the help of graph kya pute, you must to add the graph. That's what it is for 6 marks. Okay, so you want to tell with the graph and the points with the explanation part, not in a short-in format. You want to write nicely. Okay dear. So here explain means also you can add the points, but the points not in a short-in format. Okay, you want to write something nicely. Okay, explain. You want to explain and write the points, add the points. Okay, so before moving to the points, I'll explain very first how does a unit tax imposition affecting the graph, market equilibrium graph. Okay dear. So first of all we will draw the diagram and get to know something by the diagram, and we can add the points. Okay, so here Q axis, that is the horizontal axis, is named as Q, vertical axis is P, there is downward sloping line, demand line, right, upward sloping line, no measurement. Okay, so I see I did not take any measurement, but nicely use your ruler, nicely draw by pencil. Okay, straight line supply and straight upward line supply, straight downward sloping demand line, and show everything, each and everything. Okay, don't miss anything. See, first of all when I drew this, I marked the axis, 3 points, I mean Q, the origin and the price. Then I drew the demand line and I named, and I drew the supply line, I named, and I found the point, the general intersect the point here, E. See, I marked E. Then after that I am going to say this is EP and EQ. So what is the meaning of EP and EQ? That is both parties are agreed to buy and sell. So they are going to pay the price, and also supplier is going to receive the price, same price, because both are willing, one side to sell, another side to buy this quantity at this price. Now in this case, what's going to happen? Government, okay, the government is going to impose a unit tax. Okay, so tax can be imposed in two different methods, but in your syllabus the thing is explained very deeply about unit tax. Another one is the ad valorem tax. Ad valorem tax is about percentage wise, that is not that much needed, but for your knowledge you can understand. Ad valorem kyane pute percentage, I taught in the class also, I gave the graph presentation also, right? But anyhow, unit tax is taken to the consideration, right? So as the unit tax is imposed, we are going to shift the supply line. Why do we need to shift the supply line? Because of unit tax. Tax imposition is one of the other factors affecting the supply. So supply is determined by two main factors. One is the price of the concerned good, another one is the other factor. Under the other factors there are many things included. One of that other factors is tax. So is unit tax added, are you going to move the point or shift the line? You are going to shift the line because it is about what? One of the other factors. If price is changing only, you can move the points upward or downward. Okay, that's in the syllabus. Okay, you must to learn that. Go through the syllabus, you can understand, right? So now it is about tax, as that is one of the other factors. We are going to shift the supply line. That supply line will be shifted to rightward or leftward. Leftward, because why? Rightward movement shows you a favorable manner, favorable thing, but leftward movement is about unfavorable thing, because tax is imposed on supplier. So supplier now is how to say, is little affected. I mean, he is going to affect by the imposition of tax, because part of the income he has to pay to the government. So I am going to show you the part how much the tax burden goes to producer and also the consumer side. Okay, in this case I will take another color pen, then you will understand. Now I am going to draw another supply line, that is ST, supply after tax. S is the original supply line before imposing tax, and ST is about imposition of tax line, supply line after tax. Then you can find new equilibrium point E1. Due to that reason, price will be increasing and quantity will be decreasing. See? So these are the consequences. Okay, dear. Very first you can say supply line will be shifted to leftward, and equilibrium price is increasing, equilibrium quantity is decreasing. Okay, now see, I am going to show you the part of the tax. Okay, dear, where we can show the part of the tax to the government and portion to the consumer and producer, deadweight loss, everything I am going to show you, right? Now listen to me. E1Q is traded at E1P due to the tax imposition on supplier. E1Q is traded at E1P price because of the tax imposition on the supplier. That's what supply line is taken to the leftward. Okay, now E1P is the price after tax. Now same E1Q. Okay, now forget about EQ. Now EQ story is over. That is before the tax. So EQ, EP, E all are before tax. Now no story regarding that. Now we have to consider E1Q. So now E1Q, if there is no tax, means same E1Q, if there is no tax means which line? This original supply line. original supply line. So E1Q, if there is no tax, it is going to intersect in this point. See the dotted line? But earlier the dotted line has intersected with this supply after tax line. That's what we found E1P. Now we are finding the point on supply line because I said no tax means. Now the new quantity but no tax. If there is no tax means actually this is the price. This is the price. If there is no tax. Same E1Q, if there is no tax, this is the price. But we are giving E1P. We are giving E1P. Therefore, this is the tax amount. Tax amount to be paid to the government. Okay. Downward line, downward sloping line, demand line, upward sloping supply line, equilibrium price and quantity. Now, imposition of tax leading the supply line to shift leftward. Due to that effect, quantity decreases, price increases. Therefore, dear, we are in the new price and quantity. Now, the story is if the same E1 quantity to be traded with no tax means you have to come up with the point on original supply line. So, here I marked as P2. Then this is the entire tax amount, because this is the quantity quantity the price, this is the entire tax amount. So in this entire tax amount, okay, you can see it has separated into two, it has split into two because dotted line is there therefore this is something, this is another space. Already I said, okay, before this, whose surplus is this? Consumer surplus. Therefore, because this triangle, I told you, this is a consumer surplus. Therefore, this is the tax burden to consumer. Consumer tax burden. Consumer has to bear the tax burden. Therefore, this is whose surplus I said, producer. Therefore, now out of the surplus he gained before the tax. Now he has to pay some portion as tax burden. Therefore, this is whose burden? Whose tax burden? Producer. This is how you can remember. Okay, they remember the triangle, okay, the triangle area, consumer area and the producer area. So in between only that rectangle has set. Therefore, out of that rectangle you can see upper portion from the consumer area. Therefore, that is the consumer tax burden. Below the triangle, that's for the producer surplus. So that portion has to be borne by the producer. He has to take the tax burden. Right? Therefore, then what happens? Their surplus area will be reduced. Do you see? Their surplus area will be reduced. Now, this is the new consumer surplus. Earlier, consumer enjoyed this triangle. Here, see, darling. This triangle. Now he is going to enjoy this much only, here, this much only, right? And I said this is the producer. Therefore, dear, now this is, I said for the producer tax burden, now this becomes the new producer surplus, okay dear, new producer surplus. What happens to surplus balance for both of them? Increased or decreased? Decreased. Okay, earlier the bigger triangle I showed. Now after going to some burden, and this for the dead weight loss. Why, darling, dead weight loss? Here, see, Now your transaction is contracted. That means EQ has now taken to E1Q, reduced. Okay, now this surplus cannot be enjoyed by anyone else. Earlier you traded to EQ, now you are trading to E1Q. Therefore, no transaction. So no transaction beyond this point. Therefore, this will be deadweight loss. Deadweight loss kya pute? No one else enjoyed the benefit. Earlier, consumer, producer both enjoyed as the triangle. Right now, you can't enjoy. You can't pute as the producer side or the consumer side. Both cannot enjoy. That's what we said. That is a DWL, dead weight loss on social welfare. Right? Okay. Dead weight loss. Right, okay, then this goes to the tax amount to the government, and one portion is borne by consumer, another one is the producer tax burden, and new consumer surplus and new producer surplus. Okay, now what are the points you can include? Listen carefully. First of all, you can tell supply line will be shifting to leftward. Due to that reason, equilibrium price will be increasing and equilibrium quantity will be decreasing. And there is an area for deadweight loss. Then you can add consumer surplus and producer surplus balances are decreased. Government is going to generate the tax income. One portion will be borne by consumer, another portion will be borne by producer. There is a consumer tax burden and the producer tax burden. So these are the points you are going to include with this graph explanation, right? Okay, so I guess you understood, and after this diagram or explaining, you can draw the graph. Better you can draw the graph and finally you can put some points. Okay, points kya put not in a shortened format, you want to write nicely, right? Okay, so now you want to say there is an equilibrium level, after that equilibrium price increased, decreased, economic surplus decreased, deadweight loss will be there, then consumer tax burden, producer tax burden, government is going to generate some tax income, like you want to add the points. Okay, got it? Right. Now we can go to the B point, right? We can go to the B point. It's about one small calculation about the accounting profit and the economic profit. Okay, the accounting profit and the economic profit separately, but that is for 4 marks question. So totally 10 marks included. So better I erase this. Okay, B part. In order to find accounting profit and the economic profit, you need total revenue. Okay, dear? So total revenue, because profit means you want to take the revenue, then only you can deduct the cost. Okay, dear? Total revenue. So in order to find the total revenue, here the price is given 60 and the quantity is given 1200. Price is 60 and the quantity is given 1200. Therefore, the total revenue amount is, if I am correct, 72,000. Accounting profit to calculate, you want to only deduct direct cost. Okay, now it is about cost of production. What is an accounting cost and the economic cost? Accounting cost is direct cost, explicit cost, what is incurred by money. Right? Indirect cost is named as implicit cost, what is sacrificed from the own resources, something you sacrifice, you give up. right? Then in order to find the accounting profit, you can deduct only the accounting cost, okay? You can deduct only the accounting cost. Accounting cost kyanne pute, you can take only the cost that is paid by money. So here the paid by money, what you can take? Direct material paid, direct material paid. And there is another one given here, direct wages paid. And last one is the fuel expenses, that is also paid by money. Therefore, we can add. Therefore, totally 4,200 and direct wages 4,000 given. Fuel amount is 1,750. So, if you take 1,750, the total answer is how much? 10,000 ne pute. So, 10,000. Is that correct? 10,000. Shall we check also the second time? Yes, 4,000, 1,750, yes, okay, 10,000. So, if you deduct, this is 62,000. 62,000 is what kind of profit? What kind of profit? Accounting profit, okay dear? That is about accounting profit. Now, we are going to deduct the implicit cost, okay dear, implicit cost, right? So, implicit cost. If we deduct implicit cost කියන්නේ මොකද්ද පුතේ? Something you sacrifice from your own resources. Interest income forgone, salary income forgone, economic depreciation, normal profit, likewise anything given with forgone, sacrificed, give up value. So normal profit, economic depreciation, interest income forgone, salary income forgone, rent income, like anything is given, give up amount, that is about implicit cost, okay? So already accounting cost is deducted, then we can further deduct the implicit cost. In this case, there are, yes, two implicit costs are given. One is the interest amount, interest expenses. Wait dear, wait. Interest amount forgone, right? And the second thing is given normal profit. Can you see? Yes, visible, no? Yeah. Interest income is 9,000 and normal profit is 12,500. Together, if I am correct, 21,500. So, if you deduct, that is the economic profit. That is the economic profit, okay dear? That is the economic profit. So once that is settled, 40,500, no? Yes. So what is the summary? You got it? Accounting profit to calculate, okay? Accounting profit to calculate, only accounting cost is considered. Accounting cost kyanne pute, something you pay by money, monetary value, you pay it, okay? You are going to bear by spending money, direct material, wages, fuel, any expenses, administration. Likewise, if you pay by money, that is accounting cost. Implicit kyanne pute, from your own resources, in order to conduct the production process, you might sacrifice something, some value from your own resources. For an example, if you utilize your own building, that building you could have given for rental purpose. So rent income you could have earned. Now you can't earn because you are utilizing for the production process. Likewise, if you sacrifice something else from your own resources, that we name as implicit cost. Okay, the implicit cost or indirect cost, all are same. Remember, implicit cost or indirect cost. Accounting cost, how can we name also? Direct cost, explicit, we know outside how much is that. we can see how much we can feel. Accounting cost, direct cost, explicit cost, all are similar words. But implicit kya pute? We say indirect cost. Together we say economic cost. Remember, direct cost, indirect cost, together we say economic cost. So once economic cost is deducted from the total revenue, we can find the economic profit. Okay, already accounting cost is deducted. Now we deducted the implicit cost, then we found the economic profit. So to find the economic profit, you want to take the economic cost. You want to consider economic cost. Two things are to be deducted. One is the direct cost and the indirect cost. Is that clear? Yes. Understood? Okay. Right. Now question number 4, it's about the inflation. Yeah. And the 5th international trade. Then we can go to the section C. So I am raising this. State three measures that can be taken to control inflation. Right, it's about the question number 4. I included 3 parts, okay, A, B and C, and given for totally 10 marks. As I said, section B each getting 10 marks. Section C only one big question is given, that's for 20 marks. So here theoretically I included the points. Very first one, controlling the inflation. Before we control, what is an inflation? What is inflation? What do you know about inflation? What is inflation? General price level, continuous increase in the general price level, right? Continuous increase in the general price level, right? So why does general price level increase? Can you remember when I explained a market equilibrium, price is determined by two main market forces, downward sloping demand line and upward sloping supply line. These two are known as market forces. These are considered to find the price. So if price level increasing, something is happening to these two. One of these two. One time we can take only one. So explaining purpose. So how price level increasing by these two factors? One is demand increases. So if demand increases, price level increases. Okay, dear, normally demand increases, price level increases. So that demand increases, how that happens? Demand pull inflation theory. Don't forget, there is a theory, study well. Demand pull inflation. Okay, very first I said, what is an inflation? So inflation is about continuous increase in the general price level. So as the price level increases, we can see an inflation in the economy. So first reason I said, aggregate demand increases in the economy. Aggregate is about the gross total entire amount of demand in an economy. That is explained by demand pull inflation. There are two theories included. I guess you all can remember. One is the Keynesian theory. Another one, theory of quantity theory of money. Okay dear, Fisher theory, we can say as also Fisher theory, quantity theory of money, equation theory, right? So Keynesian theory, quantity theory of money, these two are the theories we can use to explain demand pull inflation. Right, okay, study well. There are the notes given. Okay, the Keynesian theory and quantity theory of money. MV equals PT. Second reason that comes from supply. How supply causes increase in general price level? Supply increases or supply decreases? Supply decreases, okay dear. So that is another reason, that is we say supply push inflation. Okay, very first theory I said demand pull inflation. Now the second cause is about supply push inflation. Okay dear, supply push inflation. As supply decreases, inflation occurs. Okay, inflation means general price level increases, that is created, affected by two reasons: demand increases or supply decreases. Demand increases can be explained by demand pull inflation. There are two theories included, Keynesian theory and quantity theory of money. Another reason I said as what? Supply push inflation. Okay, that is not the question, but I gave you some brief knowledge about what is an inflation and how inflation comes. But here I asked, state 3 measures that can be taken to control inflation. Now assume, think, I said inflation comes due to the reason of aggregate demand increases. Now what action do you want to take? You want to take the action to control the demand. Okay, control the demand, control the aggregate demand. You want to take some steps to control the aggregate demand. Aggregate demand to control, dear, you can increase the interest rate. Okay dear, decreasing the money supply. Selling the government securities at the market. Okay, increasing the reserve rate. So likewise you can take some actions. That is to control the aggregate demand. So we are talking about, it's about question number 4A. Very first point you are taking to increase the aggregate demand. AD here I mentioned as aggregate demand, total demand. Is that correct? Aggregate demand increases. Is that correct? What did I say? You want to take the action to decrease the aggregate demand. You want to take some action to decrease the aggregate demand. And another step you can take to increase the aggregate supply. Because I said inflation comes, one reason by aggregate supply decreases. No Pute, now you want to find some steps to enhance the supply, increase the supply. So government can give subsidies, reduce the tax, okay dear, giving some technological idea, technological support, any other assistance, laws and legislations, like through that they can support them. Right, then what happens? They come forward, they are willing to increase the supply. So two steps right now I said, okay, because I said the reasons, darling, the reasons I said: increase the aggregate demand, decrease the aggregate supply, causing inflation. So we have to think, increasing the aggregate demand, we need to take action to control that. Decreasing the aggregate supply, we need to take some actions to enhance that. Okay, last one dear, you want to remove the barriers. You want to remove the barriers in the efficient allocation of resources. Some are not willing to come forward to do the production because there is huge restrictions in the laws and legislations. Okay, in their procedures. Therefore, those people who are willing to come forward to do the production. They don't like to come because of they are afraid of coming forward due to some strict rules and regulations, okay, bureaucratic system. So if it is relaxed, they can come forward to enhance the supply side. So that is the third option you can add, removing the barriers in the resource allocation, okay. They remove the barriers, right? Remove the barriers, right? Did you understand what I said? So state 3 measures that can be taken to control inflation, okay. One, you can take the action to control aggregate demand. Another step, you can say steps finding to increase the aggregate supply. And last one, you want to remove the barriers in the efficient allocation of resources. So it helps the suppliers to come forward to enhance their supply. Okay, so that is about the A part. Now shall we go to the B? Yes. Okay, we can use this side B. Right, this is something you can understand. Electronic money. So e-money, this is from the types of money, you know, fiat money, demand money, okay, so near money, money substitute, so e-money. What are the disadvantages? General thing, e-money. So e-money kyanne pute electronically we need the knowledge, okay, the wide knowledge, information, technology knowledge you need. That is one restriction you can say. There are the possibilities for fraudulent activities, you know, there are many scams taken place, so you can say fraudulent activity. Lack of legal acceptability. Okay, they legally you can't show the procedure, okay, they sometimes you might misplace though, erase though. So e-money through you can't make the evidence, okay, the legal acceptance is very lack. And you can't transfer by like the fiat money, easily you can't transfer like this, okay. Therefore every matter, sometimes the signal problem, technological problem, easily you cannot transfer. Another one you can say, time to time you want to update your knowledge, so it can be out of dated easily, okay. The day by day you can see many apps, many AI system, many update comes, okay. You want to update regularly, on regular basis you want to update the system. So these are the disadvantages included under electronical money, okay. Anything you can write state, because it is about state, not to explain. So state kyanne pute you can add the points, okay. So the points I gave: lack of legal acceptance, out of dated, fraudulent activities, wide knowledge you need about the technology. So like you can write something about these disadvantages, okay. Right. And C point, explain two quantitative monetary instruments used by central bank. Right. Explain two quantitative monetary policy instruments used by central bank. What is their monetary policy? What is monetary policy? Monetary policy is one of the policies implemented by central bank on behalf of government to control basically the money supply ne pute. Because I said inflation comes, that inflation can be caused by money supply, increase in the money supply. So through the monetary policy, it has to take some actions to control, sometimes to control, sometimes to enhance. Sometimes the central bank does some activities to control the money supply. On the other hand, they do flexibility to increase the money supply in an economy, okay. That is according to the economical activities, okay. So here I asked the two quantitative monetary policy instruments. Actually, how many are included? Quantitative instruments. What are the first quantitative instruments, as you know? One is about what? bank rate policy. Okay, dear, bank rate policy. Another one, statutory rate, reserve rate, statutory reserve rate. First one is the bank rate, another one is the statutory reserve rate. Last one, dear, open market operation, open market operation, OMO. So these are the three quantitative instruments included in the monetary policy. You can explain any of these two only. So whenever you explain, dear, don't just directly go to the explanation. Okay, dear, first write the topic. There are the instruments I said regarding the open market operation. The first say open market operation, you want to write the content. After that, you are willing to discuss about bank rate, the bank rate and the inclusion. And the third one, statutory reserve rate. So at the point and write it. That is how you want to explain. So don't go. That is another best idea I can give you to gain marks. Don't explain. Don't go directly at one point and include. What is that point? Include some description. Okay, now I explain what is first open market operation. There are three instruments included. Okay, open market operation. What is this open market operation? Buying and selling government securities. Okay, dear, government securities. Okay, dear, buying and selling. Sometimes it does absorbing. It is done to absorb, sometimes to inject money to the economy. So I will explain when to buy, when to sell. What is buy, what is to sell in point of central bank. I am talking about central bank. Okay, dear. If central bank needs, okay, dear, listen to me. If central bank needs to, okay, control the money supply, because money supply is generated mainly from commercial banks. Okay, so what happens? Central bank sells the securities as the primary dealer. Commercial bank take that. So take that means the money available with commercial banks now absorbed to central bank. Now the money availability with the licensed commercial banks will be what? Limited. Therefore loan availability is limited. Then money supply is also limited. Okay, dear. So selling. I am talking about now selling. Selling is to money supply to decrease. Okay, you see now selling. Central bank sells. So if central bank sells, licensed commercial banks as the primary dealer, it gets. It means the money among them in the pool of money will be absorbed by central bank. So availability of money will be controlled. Okay. If central bank thinks it is the time to enhance money supply in the economy, it takes back the securities and provide money to them at that time. Okay, if licensed commercial banks, they are in need of money, that securities will be taken back to inject money to the economy. Okay, dear. Therefore, buying the government security happens to enhance the money supply. Open market operation. So open market operation is about buying and selling the government securities, okay, between Central Bank of Sri Lanka and licensed commercial banks. So if central bank sells securities to licensed commercial bank, the money available among them will be taken to the central bank. It controls the money supply. If that same securities are taken back from licensed commercial banks to the central bank, the money available with the licensed commercial bank increases, leading for increase in money supply. Okay, that is what I made as the point. Don't worry, the answer script I will try to send you so you can understand, right? So buy. They buy to increase the money supply by in point of central bank. They sell to control the money supply. The next thing is about bank rate. There are three instruments, therefore we can talk about now bank rate. Okay dear, whether to increase the bank rate or decrease the bank rate. Okay, if central bank increases the bank rate, licensed commercial banks, they reduce taking loan from central bank. Higher cost ne pute bank rate kyane kind of interest rate, but we don't say interest rate as it is implemented by central bank, we say bank rate. So bank rate policy is about when the bank rate is increases, commercial banks, they don't come forward to borrow money. Therefore, money supply will be decreases. Money supply will be decreases. If bank rate increases, increases means they don't like to borrow money from central bank. So, availability of money will be decreasing. Finally, money supply will be decreasing. So, this is the time, on the other hand, to increase the money supply, they reduce it. So, if the bank rate reduces, commercial banks can get some money from central bank that can be released to the public. So among the public, money supply will be increasing. Okay dear, money supply will be increasing. That is about what dear, bank rate. Okay dear, so bank rate increases kyane main purpose to control the money supply, bank rate decreases kyane pute the main purpose to increase the money supply. Then the third one is about statutory rate. Okay dear, statutory rate. What is the statutory rate? Now understand, as public, okay, how to say, right. For our safetiness, we keep some money as savings at banks. Now especially we are talking about licensed commercial banks. So for our savings, we keep money in licensed commercial banks for our security. Likewise, licensed commercial banks, for some safetiness, central bank has implemented the mandatory rule that licensed commercial banks has to keep some percentage on their deposits as the reserve with central bank. Okay, again I tell you, central bank, to secure the public money, implement the mandatory rule on licensed commercial banks that it has to keep a certain percentage on the deposits collected with central bank. Okay, now if reserve rate is increases, statutory reserve rate is increases, greater money will be absorbed by central bank. Greater the rate no pute, so from the deposit higher amount of money will be kept as reserve. It means money supply will be controlled. Why dear? The available balance will be declined, so the loan availability, loan capability will be declined, money supply can be controlled. If they reduce the reserve rate, then it can increase the money supply. Okay, they lower the money they are going to keep as the reserve, therefore the money available with them will be increased, so they can provide the loan, money supply will be increased. This is what you want to write under the topic regarding the open market operation, bank rate or the statutory reserve rate. You can choose two among these three. Actually these three are the quantitative instruments included in the monetary policy. Okay, so look around what is written here, whether you understood or not. Okay. So the last question in question number 5 under section B, I am talking about now B. I guess you all are understanding. Right. So in same section B, question number 5, I included, right? Question number 5, I included the things from international trade. Okay, dear, there are 3 set of questions given. Question number 5, totally 10 marks, and that is end of section B. So we have one thing left, it's about the section C. Right. Very first 2 things are easy. International trade advantages. Okay. What is first trade? What is trade? So trade means buying and selling. Here trade is taken place international wise, among the countries, between the countries, that is international trade. The trade that is taken between the countries is known as international trade. Therefore, they are asking you the advantages. So by doing the international trade, what kind of advantages get? You can get, what are the advantages? Very first one, greater variety of goods. You can get massive collections, okay dear, worldwide around the sea, how many brands, how many collections, okay. So you can't choose quickly, that much wide variety of things can be easily selected. And the prices are also very fair. You can find the product for a fair price. So great amount of goods can be found at the fair price. You can find it. And due to the good relationship with other countries, new technologies can be taken. As the new technology, employment facilities will be improved. Due to that reason, standard of living will be enhanced. So it is good to the economy. So if you maintain good economical, political, cultural relationship with other countries, they come forward to help you in any available time for your help. Okay dear, for your need they come forward. Okay, now due to this major disaster, how many countries, how many multinational companies they came forward to help us, assist us. That is what, okay dear, so we can maintain a strong relationship. Another advantage, okay dear, maintaining a strong political, economical, cultural relationship with other countries. Okay, so new employment opportunities, new companies, okay, due to the establishment of new companies, new employment opportunities are created, new technology, how many courses available, how many jobs are available, so you can choose what you want. So your consumption level is more than what can you produce. Okay, so this can be added as the advantages of international trade. Okay. Every activity has 2 facets, okay dear. So one is the positive side, means another side it is negative. Therefore, international trade, I did not mean it gives all the time advantages. There are the problems you want to face. Okay dear, sometimes harmful goods can be imported, cultural damages, exploitation of resources, domestic industries can be affected. That is the main reason. Due to this reason, the country imposes an actions, the strategies, any event, any actions taken to control the competitiveness from other countries is known as protectionism. That is what I gave under B part. Okay dear, I gave briefly explain the term protectionism. So protectionism is about any activity or any term, any strategies that is implemented by the country to control the competitiveness coming from other countries, to protect basically domestic industries, especially infant industries. What is the meaning of infant industries? Infant industries kyane putte just now started businesses. So do you think just now started businesses can face the competitiveness from multinational companies from other countries? No, they need some time to grow up. So they can't handle the huge financial, non-financial competitiveness from other companies. Therefore, dear, you want to think deeply how this protectionism helps to protect the infant industries. That is a term. So you can protect by tariff and non-tariff wise. Tariff kyane putte kind of tax. We say in the international trade a tariff is imposed. Okay, tariff activities, non-tariff activities. Tariff is imposed on imports as well as also for some kind of exports. Selected exports, right? So exports and the imports, right? Then non-tariff activities kyane putte, it is based on the control of exchange rate, okay, quota, and following the standards, how else like legal procedures, license you want to take, agreements, trade agreements you can involve in. So these activities you can include in non-tariff activities, okay. Therefore protectionism includes two kind of activities. One is the tariff, another one non-tariff activities, okay. So first two are some kind of theoretical side I included. One is about the advantages of international trade, another one is about the protectionism. Okay, now the C part is about one small calculation, how the comparative advantage is found by this table. Two countries and two products are given. Therefore, how to find which country is absolutely advantage, okay. Very first we will take the information accordingly. We can do it, okay. This is about wheat and this is about the potatoes, and we are going to divide this because this side product, this side country we are going to take. And A country, B country, 6, 1, 4, 3. Okay. Assume that country A and B produce wheat and flour. The following table summarizes the unit of wheat and potatoes produced by using 1 unit of resource. Okay, listen to me. What is this table? A country can produce 6 units of wheat flour or 4 units of potatoes that can be produced by using 1 unit of resource. 1 unit of resource, okay. Wheat flour is produced 6 or 4 units of potatoes. If you take B, 1 wheat or 3 potatoes are produced. So to find which country is comparatively advantage, we want to follow the opportunity cost table. We need to take the opportunity cost table. Therefore, how to find the opportunity cost? How to find the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is found foregone units divided by increased units. Okay, dear, foregone units divided by increased units. Okay, therefore we need to take the table. That table, dear, one for a wheat, another one for a potato, and A country and B country. Okay, now remember here A country, B country information is given. Now see, if 6 units of wheat flour are produced, you want to sacrifice 4. So foregone units divided by increase, therefore 4 units are given up to produce 6. 4 units are given up to produce 6. Therefore, 1 wheat flour to produce, you want to sacrifice 0.67 potatoes, okay, for dividing by 6. So, you want to sacrifice 0.67. Suppose 4 units of potatoes to be produced, you want to sacrifice their 6 wheat flour. A country, it can produce 6 or 4. 6 produce, 4 given up, 4 produce, 6 given up. So 6 wheat flour given up for 4. Therefore, how many units you are going to sacrifice for 1? So you are going to give 1.5 wheat to produce 1 unit of potato. Okay dear. 4 units potatoes to produce, 6 units are given up. Therefore 1 potato to produce, 1.5 wheat you want to sacrifice. Likewise B, 1 to produce darling, 3 potatoes are given up. So answer is 3. So 3 potatoes to produce, 1 wheat flour is given up. So 1 given to 3, therefore to 1, 0.33. This is how the opportunity cost table is first found. Okay dear. Again I am telling you, opportunity cost kya pute foregone units divided by increased units. Therefore wheat flour, potato, both product taken here. If 6 produce, 4 left, 4 forgone, so 4 over 6. Here darling, 4 potatoes to produce, 6 sacrificed, 6 over 4. Like the big country I did. Now you might have the confusion in which side to decide. The column wise also 2 amount figures given, row wise also if you think 2 amount figures are given. Now you might have the confusion. Remember one question dear, raise within you, what to produce. Okay dear, remember what to produce. Now can you produce A country, B country? Can you produce country? No. Can you produce wheat and potato? Yes, of course. That is how you can find the conclusion. Okay dear, what to produce. So if you produce wheat flour or potato, whatever, do you like to sacrifice more? No. So you are going to take the least answer. If you take the wheat, the least answer is 0.67. If you take the wheat, therefore A country is comparatively advantage. If you take the potato, this is the least answer, then you can say B country. So you want to write the answer, you want to definitely write the answer. A country has comparative advantage in the production of wheat. A country has comparative advantage in the production of wheat. B country has comparative advantage in the production of potatoes. So you want to write 2 sentences, then only you can get the marks. So this is about the opportunity cost table. So take whether you get it or not. Then we can go to the final paper. Yes. So we ended discussing about section B. So in section B, I included 4 questions, each giving you 10 marks, therefore totally 40. So question number 2, I included for market, equilibrium, price and quantity. Second question I gave from the cost of production and tax. And third question I gave something from money and banking. And the last one is from the international trade. So we ended the section B. Now, we can go to the question number 6. So this is included for 20 marks, right? Here, explain 2 macroeconomic objectives, okay? What are the macroeconomic objectives you know? Price stability, full employment, economic growth, equity, sustainable development, like you are going to take this, right? Section C. Okay, very first part, dear, you can take two and explain, then you can get the marks. Okay, there are 6 objectives included, therefore dear, anything you can include. So one thing is about price stability. What is the meaning of price stability? Price stability kyanne pute maintaining the price without inflationary or deflationary pressures. Okay dear, it means trying to keep your economy with lower level inflationary pressures. Okay dear, you want to write the wordings, okay, under the thing objective. There are 6 objectives, so you can write price stability. Okay, number 2, dear, it's about the full employment kyanne pute maximum utilizing the resources in an efficient manner, that is full employment. Next one, balance of payment equilibrium. Balance of payment equilibrium means balancing the international trade, deficit or the surplus. It's not good continuously, you want to balance it, okay dear, because it is directly affecting the economy, so you try to cope up with balancing the BOP. That is the statement where all the international trade transactions are recorded, right? Another thing you can include here, equity. What is the meaning of equity? Equity kyanne pute treating people equally. That is the vertical equity we have, horizontal equity we have. Vertical equity kyanne pute higher income earners with higher tax, lower income earners with lower tax. Vertical. Horizontal kyanne pute the person who is earning income in a same level will be treated same with another equal income level earners. Okay, same way. If both are earning 50,000, both has to be treated in a same level. That is the meaning of equity. Treating your people fairly. That is about the fair distribution, right? Okay, dear, you want to try to go with equal manner. And then another one is the economic growth. Economic growth, you are focusing on, already I said, improving, continuous improvement in the productivity level, real GDP level, economic growth, right? Real GDP level. Last one, sustainable development. Okay dear, sustainable development kyanne pute while you are utilizing the resources for the economic development, ensure some are also kept for the future generation, then only they can maintain the same level development. Okay dear, so don't think just to take the benefit for the present generation, think about the future generation. As the resources are limited, if you utilize all the resources for our benefit, future generation will be drastically affected. Therefore, sustainable development telling you, think about the future generation, keep some resources for them for their benefit. So there are 6 objectives given, you can add 2. Okay, whatever you can explain, you can take 2, right? Price stability, full employment, balance of payment, equilibrium, equity, economic growth and sustainable development, right? This is about the A part, right? Anything you can take, 2 things, 4 marks will be given. 4 marks will be given. Next is another calculation, right? Okay. You are given the following hypothetical data relating to national accounts of an economy for a period of 1 year. So here, the information is given in million and they are asking you to calculate by the income approach. Okay, they are asking to find by the income approach, right? To find in the income approach, Okay, it's about the B. Income approach, you want to include some of the points to find the first gross value added at basic price. Okay, income, you know very well there are three approaches. Okay dear, production, expenditure and income, right? So here you want to add 4 points to find the GVA, employment compensation, gross operational surplus, gross operational surplus, gross mixed income, gross mixed income, and other taxes minus other subsidies. Okay, you want to take these 4: employment compensation, gross operational surplus, gross mixed income and other taxes minus subsidies, other subsidies on production. So according to the information, everything, don't worry, they will give you the direct information. So just you want to add and find. So here according to the information, employment compensation given 52, gross operational surplus 31, and here 10,000 given, other taxes minus other subsidies given. If you take the value, that is GVA at basic price. Okay dear, GVA at basic price, right? Yes. So with this GVA, net tax on product, if the net tax, other tax both are different, already I explained, other. So other is taken first, tax, just the tax, net tax on product. Imports are given 4,500. If 4,500 given, you are going to add that. Okay dear, net tax on product. Okay dear, net tax on product. So what you can find, that is GDP at market price. Okay, GDP at market price, right? GVA, gross value added at basic price, to calculate under income approach. These 4 components are included. After that, net tax is adjusted, GDP is calculated. Then dear, net primary income is given, but that is given in bracket, no darling. So bracket means we need to deduct it. Net primary income, right? So net primary income is given 14,000. That's you want to subtract. Then you can find gross national income at market price. Gross national income by market price. Okay, so if you deduct rupees 19,000, okay dear, please remember it's all in millions, right? Okay amma, it's all in millions, right? Okay, 90,500. So this is the simple statement. If you know what are the components included, you can follow up the approach. But remember, there are other 2 also, study well. But I guess this is needed for you. So I got from income approach, right? So income approach or expenditure approach or production approach, definitely one will be given, right? Okay, so here I explained the income approach method to finally find the GNI at market price. Okay, so totally you will get 11 marks from here. Okay darling, 11 marks, right? 11 marks. So there are other 2 theory questions given. By that section C will be over. So what are the qualitative changes? State 3 qualitative changes included in the economic development. Okay, listen, economic growth, economic development, both are different. Economic growth के आने पुते only the production is improved, only the production is improved. Only the production is improved. But economic development කියන්න පුතේ not only the production, qualitative improvement also should be included. Okay, so here economic development කියන්න පුතේ with economic growth you can add the point modernization, reducing the poverty level, fair distribution of income, right? Okay dear, employment level increasing, it means reducing the unemployment. Okay, likewise quality related factors we need to include because it is about economic development with economic growth. So economic growth කියන්න පුතේ only improvement in the real GDP. Along with the real GDP improvement, you can add the point about what? Reducing the poverty, disparity level, reducing unemployment level, reducing modernization, industrialization, improving the standard of living, like quality related improvement, okay, social related improvement, environmental related improvement, plus economical related. Economical කියන්න පුතේ GDP related improvement are also included. That is about the economic development. So you can write any 3 changes, qualitative changes. Okay dear? Okay, you see I asked about qualitative changes ne putte. I said economic development is real GDP along with that qualitative improvement. Okay, so not the economic growth. The answer, because I asked the qualitative changes, okay, but economic development කියන්න පුතේ along with real GDP improvement, qualitative changes are included. Those qualitative changes you can write 3. I said about industrialization, modernization, disparity level, decreasing poverty level, any of the qualitative changes you can include, that you can get 3 marks. Okay, now last part, the D, what are the 2 determinants of economic growth? Okay dear, what is leading for economic growth? Okay, direct answer you can write. Okay, so what are the things needed to improve your real GDP? Endowment, resource endowment is needed, resource availability, resource endowment is needed, right? Productivity, resource productivity, economic stability, favorable environmental status, good governance, any of these you can add 2 means you can get the 2 marks because that is about state. Okay dear, so again I am telling what are the points: resource endowment, resource productivity, economic stability, political stability, good governance, any subsidy related support, so that you need, then you can go with economic growth. Now section C is also ended. So is this paper discussion worthful? Got something else? Okay, so all the very best for your examination. By the way, I wanted to tell you 2 central bank report data in MCQ, darling, it can be asked. Okay dear, remember central bank, one of the MCQs will be from the central bank report. So as we have 2024, remember 2. Okay dear, one of this will be asked. One is per capita income. One is per capita income. Per capita income, dear, according to 2024, $4,516. $4,516. Or they can ask the GDP, economic growth, that is 5%. So I wanted to tell you. So remember, one of these 2 will be tested. One can be per capita income or GDP, economic growth. Okay, one of the MCQs, right? Central bank data. So maximum I included in this paper all the chapters. So try hard and please succeed in this level 1. Come back to level 2, 3 complete, and have a nice day. Okay, God bless you all. Bye. Take care.